It's no secret that a ton of WWE superstars may be happy. I mean, it's definitely come out. A lot of superstars have taken their frustrations online. They've been tweeting about it, and everybody's talking about it on social media. But there's one guy that we've talked about several months ago that's been rumored to go to AEW, and then, of course, it did not happen. But now there are some more updates, so we are talking about it, guys. Randy Orton. Is he going to go to AEW after his WWE contract expires? Well, we're going to talk about it all right here in today's video.
You have arrived at your destination.
Welcome back to Destination PW, guys. It's your boy Ango. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Tango with Ango, and we're back with another video. Very, very interesting week. WWE came back from Saudi Arabia after Crown Jewel, and that whole thing was very interesting stuff. A lot of people have been talking about it, especially on social media. A lot of vocal opinions out there. But what's really interesting is there was a lot of pro wrestlers talking about it. And, you know, a lot of the guys in WWE, they like to, you know, generate some waves. They're generating talk, and it's definitely good for social media clout or whatever. But one thing that's been very interesting lately is anytime there is drama, especially during these Saudi Arabian shows, anytime there's any sort of controversy or topics coming out of these shows, it usually generates in more rumors that somebody from WWE is going to go to AEW. And a long time ago, there was a time period when Randy Orton was actually rumored to leave WWE for AEW. And then, of course, nothing obviously happened. And I think that was mostly due to the fact that there's obviously a contract that gets in the way. So now as time goes on, you guys may have heard little stories about Randy Orton showing some support for AEW, definitely teasing AEW, obviously on social media a lot recently. He's been doing that as well. But then also he spoke publicly about AEW on a live stream that was taking place on Twitch. And of course, there were some comments that were made. I don't want to put them on the stream or on the screen over here because there was a lot of things that were said. And honestly, I don't want to get hit with copyright, but many of you probably know which video I'm talking about. And of course, Randy Orton was talking about AEW Dynamite's first ever episode. And as time goes on, it just comes out that there's more rumors about Orton. And I think this stuff is really crazy because you got to take a little bit of it, you know, with a grain of salt. Honestly, you should take all of it with a grain of salt because you really don't know what's going to happen here, especially in 2019. Pro wrestling is really funny. A lot of people say things just to generate talk. A lot of people say things to generate, you know, interest. And sometimes they do it as a form of like negotiation tactics, right? It's been said that a lot of WWE guys in the last several months have teased on social media some of their unhappiness or some of interest in AEW, maybe by conversing with these people on Twitter. But a lot of them are doing it because they know that WWE will fork over the money for their new contract expansions if they do not sign with AEW. So you don't know what's really genuine. You don't know what's really real. But of course, people are starting to believe that Randy Orton is actually in the same boat. A lot of people are starting to think Randy Orton could very well tease AEW like he has been because he might obviously want that big contract. And in fact, this might be the last big contract that Randy Orton really receives as a full-time wrestler for WWE. So I find it really interesting that the rumor is Randy Orton will go to AEW after his contract expires next year because quite honestly, I think Randy Orton is due for that big contract, but you never know, you know, in the situations of WWE, you really don't know who is genuinely unhappy and you don't know who is really just generating talk and interest, you know, in hopes of getting that big contract. But as you guys know, Randy Orton's had a Hall of Fame career. And I think that right there I think the best thing for pro wrestling would be for him to go to AEW. But I think the best thing for Randy Orton would to be staying with WWE, which by the way, it just kind of like hit my mindset as I was talking about this. A lot of people say I pronounce Randy Orton wrong. I don't know, maybe it's just because I talk fast or whatever it is, but nonetheless, that's not really important. I know somebody's going to write a comment about it, so I'm going to laugh definitely. But I want to talk about this because, again, Randy is like, he's one of those guys, man. He's got a Hall of Fame career. He's definitely achieved a lot of great things in WWE. So really only time will tell what happens with him. And on top of that, you know, if he does go to AEW, there are a lot of matchups that are really, really intriguing. And that's just with the current day AEW roster. That's without guys like Will Ospreay or Marty Scurll or whatever. I mean, like there's so many guys who have been rumored to be interested in AEW. We haven't seen it happen yet, but if it does happen, one could only imagine some of the dream matchups that can happen there. And, you know, I think a lot of this too, it really comes down to money first and foremost, but it also comes down to creativity and kind of being able to do something different. And that's where I could see Randy going to AEW. The fact that he would kind of have the straps off of him, right? The leashes off the neck, like he could go do his own thing. That makes more sense. You know, if you're AEW, that is something that you can offer Randy Orton. You might not be able to offer as much money as WWE. Even though AEW's got money, you got to be smart with the money. So if you can't go all out like WWE can, you got to offer more incentives. And I just get a feeling Randy could be that guy that says, you know what, I have a lot of money saved up, if he did. And obviously he has a lot of resources and a lot of ways to survive. Maybe that's something that he entertains for 1 year, you know, a 1 year full-time deal with AEW. And then right after, he goes into WWE as part of a legend contract and Hall of Fame and whatever. Who knows? I think he's still too young to retire, but I do think it makes a lot of sense for him. You really can't go wrong if you're Randy in this situation, right? Like, you have done a lot in WWE. You've accomplished a lot. Going to AEW, working with some of the youth would be pretty cool. One feud that I think would really work in today's age, and I really want to include this in this video. Shawn Spears. A lot of people, whether you love him or hate him, AEW is doing something interesting with him. And I feel like when it comes to storytelling, Randy Orton and Shawn Spears is a match that I want to see. And it's funny because they obviously were in WWE together, but in the AEW ring, just something with Tully being involved, I just feel like there's something there, something that could be really special. And I think we're going to laugh about this, right? Because we're talking about this, you know, November 4th, 2019. But at some point, if this ever happens, we can reflect on this video and talk about it. Some other interesting news that I want to point out in today's video. We do have some more news topics, and I thought it was interesting. ROH will be having weekly television. They're going to have a show that is aired weekly through all of St. Clair's new regional sports channels. So I want to kind of just throw this in here. A lot of people say I don't talk enough about ROH. Honestly, it is really hard to talk about ROH. There's not a lot happening in this company, but this does seem to be a pretty good move. And of course, Impact doing Access TV now on Tuesday nights. It's been really good. I want to cover specifically more pro wrestling than just WWE and AEW. Like, that's my goal. I'm working on some stuff like as far as workstation goes, so I can just really crank out videos and talk wrestling and edit and all this stuff, and it's just going to take a little bit of time. But I mean, I'm very interested in pro wrestling. I think ROH having weekly television will be very interesting once it officially comes out and they really do it. They've been talking about it for a while. I'm just not sure if ROH has the interest. And it's kind of one of those things, like, you've seen wrestlers in WWE talk about dream matches with certain guys on that ROH roster. At what point does ROH get acquired by another company? Like, at what point do they sell? If I'm WWE, ROH has a pretty nice tape library. If I'm AEW, ROH has a pretty nice roster. If I'm New Japan, it definitely helps with the US expansion. It's just food for thought, you know? And I want to kind of bring that up because, like I said, it's been very, very interesting for ROH, and it definitely doesn't deserve its own video, but it definitely deserves a few minutes. So I want to know what you guys think, obviously, about this ROH situation, but they are going to have weekly television. It's going to be, right now, they haven't announced much as far as like the physical TV show, but for now, they're going to air weekly on the St. Clair regional sports package. So I think St. Clair, I can't remember the exact company, but they bought a whole bunch of sports channels or whatever. That's where ROH is going to be presented. 22 different markets. So not too bad for ROH. We'll see kind of what happens there. But guys, I want to know what you think about everything that's happening in pro wrestling. If there's something that you guys want me to talk about specifically, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going through some changes with the audio for this channel too, because that was another thing that was starting to bother me. So audio video should get better. I mean, there's not much I could really do here just yet. It'll take a little bit more time, but the workstation is much more improved, and I'm just trying to make it a situation where I could get content out to you guys a lot more often. So hopefully that's where this goes. You guys have been asking for daily content. I've let you down, and I apologize. So I'm going to try to earn all of your trust back, and we'll see where this goes. Thank you so much, guys, for watching Destination PW. My name is Tony. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Tango with Tango. And of course, yes, click that subscribe button, ring that bell. This way you get notified on all the latest content. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.